Welcome back. This is 2011 FF1M season, round 1, coming to you from the beautiful Albert Park circuit in Australia. And there you can see the circuit map. Quite a technical circuit, not really any hairpins, mostly 90-degree corners and hard braking, and there's some fast corners in there as well. Hamilton won the race last season. It's looking good so far, now driving for the Pedersen team. He took pole position just ahead of Jenson Button, 1/10 ahead in the LeBlanc. Rather good season, off-season for LeBlanc. And he did well to split Hamilton and Vettel, who have pretty much dominated testing. And there you can see Felipe Massa up in 4th place, so that's a good effort from him. Tornado's 5th and 7th, current Constructors' Champions, Alonso Webber, 5th and 7th that is, sandwiched by... And who on earth is he sandwiched by? He is sandwiched by the Shake and Bake of Rosberg. So both Shake and Bakes in the top 6, using the Honda engines. Biggest disappointment has been FJR, undoubtedly. They looked good in testing, in particular with Grosjean, who's been shadowing Hamilton and Vettel, but they've only managed 13th and 15th, so shows that they haven't really improved their car since. So the 2011 season is underway and off they go. Hamilton looks like he's got a good start. Button has got a good enough start as well. Massa's up to 3rd, he's got Vettel into the turn 1. Now then, is there going to be an incident? Not really, looks like everyone's got through cleanly. And Massa's up into 2nd, so a very good start from Felipe Massa. Up 2 positions. Alonso down a position as well. Mark Webber's had a very good start. He's up to 4th position from 7th on the grid. Suttle up a position, as is Hulkenberg. So bad start also from Nico Rosberg. But it's Lewis Hamilton in the Pedersen who leads. Massa in the Guy Racing 2nd. He's got Jenson Button chasing him. Former world champion, of course, Button. As we go on board with the Brit. These new cars and new graphics and new, not exactly new formats, but looking nice. This is in the slipstream. That's thinking about defending a little bit. Meanwhile, we've got the field chasing them. That's a close running there. Looks like at the very back the 2 Shannons. Meanwhile, lap 1, it's Lewis Hamilton picking up where he left off from Felipe Massa and Jenson Button. And they go through into turn 1. From out turn 1, Button is right behind Massa now. He looks like he could take him into this next corner. Massa defending, but doesn't look like he's defending quite enough. There might be contact there. Not quite contact. That was quite close. Lovely new graphics as well on the left. You can see how quickly they're going. Reaching top gear very quickly. That's quite unusual. Rosberg has got past Hulkenberg for 8th place. So they cross through the 2nd sector point. The other Shake and Bake is up into 8th. At least in these new graphics you can overtake, but the field are quite close at the moment. Here we have Alonso chasing Sebastian Vettel. There's yellow flags, so who has gone off? Hulkenberg's got back past Rosberg, so I wonder if it is Rosberg that has gone off. More yellow flags. So we have to see what's happened there. This is the first incident. This was indeed Rosberg, and he went wide. He spins it, and that's a quite unusual spin. Looks like it was just the one incident. Here is his teammate, Sebastian Vettel. He's all over the back of Mark Webber. Into turn 1, there's contact, and Vettel spins it. Webber goes off the track, and he's smashed it. Mark Webber becomes the first retirement of the season in front of his home crowd. That is just unfortunate. We join the track and Rosberg makes an absolute pig's arse of that. Right into the path of the other Pedersen, of Kumio Kobayashi. And who have we got challenging here? It's all kicking off at the moment. And Kimi Raikkonen's made his way up the field. It's up into 8th in the FJR, so he's kept out of the chaos so far. This is Rosberg looking to make up for lost ground. Coming up behind one of the Shannons, I believe. They've all got new liveries, so it's quite tricky to establish who's who. Shake and Bake livery has remained the same. I do suspect it is the Shannon, because Rosberg went way off track. There's an expensive mistake from Vettel. So, Shake and Bake's looking very rusty at the moment. So these are the grid slots. You can see Raikkonen has been the biggest gainer for the FJR. Vettel will be the biggest loser thanks to his instant with Webber. Lewis Hamilton is extending his lead a fair bit. Well, not a fair bit, because he's only 2.6 ahead of Matsu, who's pulled away from Button, and a similar gap between Button and Alonso. Adrian Sutil managed to stay out the chaos for the Andy Racing. It's up to 5th position. Hulkenberg up to 6th in the Mitchell. Then it's Nelson Piquet Jr. in the other Andy Racing, so good race for Andy Racing so far, and rounding out the top 8 is Kimi Raikkonen. Rosberg comes up the inside of Rubens Barrichello. Gets him into turn 1. Barrichello in the GRM, that is. And off the track has gone. That is the Guy Racing. That'll be Massa's teammate. Massa is still running. So the other Guy Racing is Bruno Senna. Started 14th on the grid and has retired. Yellow flags all over the place. That's at the exit of turn 2. It's a puncture for Senna. You can see the car leaning. We've got yellow flags. Adrian Sutil has retired from 5th position. That's bad luck for him. Transmission failure. So that'll move everyone up a position. Piquet up to 5th now. Hulkenberg, Raikkonen and Vettel. Meanwhile, this is Vettel behind the black and gold and red liveried not the Lotus. What am I on about? It's Lotus sponsored. But it's the FJR. Raikkonen is trying to catch Hulkenberg, but he may have to look in the mirrors. Behind Vettel. Have to find out who that car behind Vettel is. As I was saying before, the FJR looked quite good in testing, particularly in the hands of Grosjean. The test driver wasn't great. But Grosjean did look as if he could challenge Hamilton and Vettel, but it looks like the car hasn't really been developed because both Raikkonen and Grosjean haven't qualified too well. In the race though, it looks a bit more promising, certainly for Raikkonen. Haven't seen much of Grosjean at all. Vettel getting in the slipstream of the Finn, returning to FJR. Kimi having drove for them in the 2001 and 2003-2002 seasons. The 2001 season, they helped FJR to win the first Constructors when Raikkonen was teammates with Michael Schumacher. Then Raikkonen got partnered by Nick Heidfeld, with whom Nick did show some, kept him quite honest, I have to say. Each driver did win in the seasons. There's some yellow flags down at the chicane area. So I wonder who's gone off there. In fact, it's Lucas Di Grassi in the other GRM, and he's suffered a loose wheel. So not a good day for GRM at the moment. Rubens Barrichello could still make something out of it though. Looks like on the map there there's more yellow flags than there actually are, so be quite confusing. Vettel hasn't got past Raikkonen yet. So you've got new engines, the return of the works has come, and FJR are on the works engines. Doesn't look as if it's worked at the moment. They got out-qualified by the customer Mitchell Renault of Nico Hulkenberg. But 3 different engines in the top 3. There's Mercedes from Ferrari from Honda. At least it looks like it may be competitive in terms of the engine department. Raikkonen defending into turn 15. Going to make life difficult for himself down into turn 1. Closing up behind these 2. Still trying to work out who what that livery belongs to. Moving about a bit. There's some good traction on that FJR. Coming out of the slow corners. Seem to pull away quite a bit into the pit straight. Raikkonen is moving about a bit. This looks like where Vettel's best opportunity is. He'd had a look into here once before. Still having a look, but Raikkonen lay on the brakes as well. It seems like the FJR's lacking a bit of high-speed grip. And lock-up from Raikkonen, that's very unusual to see here. Has Vettel got a good enough run this time? He might well have done. He hasn't though. This looks better into turn 3. Yeah, looks a lot better. Raikkonen defending. And what is the tight gap? Maybe contact. Raikkonen holds it round the outside. And Vettel get him round. He looks like he might well have done. But Raikkonen's still hanging on. Great driving from the pair of them, great respect as well. Coming round the outside of Vettel. That's Kovalainen. Kovalainen's just caught up on Vettel there, napping. Kovalainen in the AJ. AJ, I needed to have mentioned this a while ago. With the departure of... Which team's departed, actually? I'm trying to work out. Dark Wolf departed, that's correct. They made a shock announcement to depart at the end of the season. Hamilton lapping the other AJ of... who is it? Timo Glock. And, oh, it looks like Kovalainen's got a problem, so... As I was saying, that was a great move from Kovalainen to catch Vettel napping, but it looks like reliability has struck the AJ team. Into the pits he comes. That wasn't Hamilton that we were looking at, it was Vettel retaking Kovalainen. Yeah, AJ taking the place of Dark Wolf. In FF2M we've seen the return of SF1 Germany. This is the feeder series coming up during the year. Don't know what's going on with that white line, looks like it's on crack. And welcome Horizon, the Horizon team making their FF2M debut. This is Rosberg making his way back through the field. Alonso into the pits for his first stop. And another disappointment as well has been Sebastian Buemi. He was very, very good last season, but only qualified down to 16th. That was a quick stop from Fernando Alonso. It's been fairly quiet up the front, but there has been some good midfield action. Rejoining the track in 6th position goes Alonso. And a blown engine, that looks like it's Button's teammate. So that's the other LeBlanc of the new boy, Daniel Ricciardo. So, terrible day for the Australians. Mark Webber getting shunted off by Vettel. And there's Daniel Ricciardo. Pulling off at turn 3, that is. There's a marshal running to the car. There's confirmation from race control. Car 19, Ricciardo out of the race. This is actually Hamilton, and when I said it was Hamilton on board, I'm still getting confused that he's driving for Shake and Bake. But this is the Pedersen. Maybe I should have done my research Into the pits comes Hamilton for his first stop from the lead. So that might hand the lead to Felipe Massa, making his return to FF1M, having driven in the F3.5, where he drove for the FJR Fortec team alongside his teammate Narain Karthikeyan. And Massa did very, very well. And he's making his return with his much-loved colleague Guy Racing. Guy Racing, a massive fan, forgive the pun. No pun intended, should I say. So Hamilton rejoins in third position. It's a 6-second pit stop, so very quick. Expected 2 stop, and he's got somebody right behind him. Would that be Hulkenberg, or is that a lapped car? Raikkonen in the pits as well, as is Piquet. It's a lapped car behind Hamilton. That could well be the Shannon. Is Felipe Massa in the lead, and this new set of FF1M graphics and his new look, we get to see, is it the new tyres or is it the low fuel? For the past few seasons now, it's been the new tyres which has been proved the greater effect. Vettel and Alonso having a bit of a scrap. And in fact, Alonso has dropped out. I think Alonso is out. Let's see, he may have pulled off at turn 3. Yes, he has. Alonso out of the race in the Tornado. So, bad day for Tornado then, both drivers out. That's not a good start to their Constructors' Challenge. Massa only a second ahead of Button. Button has put the hammer down. Massa gaining a little bit. So it's bang on a second. Hamilton's 17.9 seconds behind. It's not looking too bad for Massa, actually. I wonder if Hamilton's got the strategy a little bit wrong, because he's not gaining a bit. Although when Massa and Button do come in, they'll lose a bit of time on the heavy tanks. Massa has put the hammer down. Piquet currently in 8th position. He rejoined behind the other FJR driver, Roman Grosjean. He's been very quiet, but he's kept out of the trouble, much like Raikkonen has done. He's up to 7th, although he's yet to make a pit stop. Lap 30 and Vettel in the pits. It's a short stop again. Surely he's not two stopping. He's gone past half distance. So he comes out of the pits, a really odd line that he takes there. Perhaps to stay out of driver's way. He's got a Mitchell behind him of Sebastian Buemi. That's the first we've seen him. It looks like he's going to try and outbrake Vettel, but not doing so. Fastest lap for Jenson Button in the LeBlanc, so as the fuel's going down, Jenson Button is going quickly and he's trying to catch Massa up again. In comes Hulkenberg from 4th position. Been a better race for them. The Mitchells looked a bit disappointing in qualifying. Hops down after a 6.9 second stop. Let's see where that takes him. Rejoins right into the path of the lapped Shannon. In 5th position. Shannon doesn't like that, he's going to have a look at the inside. But not making much of that. Felipe Massa's in traffic at the moment. And that's Vettel about to be lapped, isn't it? No, it's Rosberg who's nearly a lap down. Rosberg chasing an AJ. Been a terrible race for Rosberg and Shakenbeek in general.
Pit at the end of this lap.
And that's the team radio telling Massa to pit at the end of this lap, so he'll be boxing this lap. Box, 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 as they would said. Not on this team radio. Also pitting is Grosjean from 5th position. He'll lose the place to PK, Vettel and Kobayashi, no doubt. Not been a bad race for FJR considering their qualifying position. Grosjean, this will be his only stop. Back into the points comes Raikkonen. He's being held up in traffic at the moment. Button pits as well, so Massa and Button both taking to the pits together. That's impressive. Would have been a good comparison to see if Button would have stayed out, to see if it is low fuel or new tyres that makes a difference. Except the red mark tyres. There goes Massa, so unsurprisingly Massa gains a little bit of Button, despite a longer stop. But no doubt it would have been because Button had to slow down when Massa was going into his box. So Hamilton retakes the lead, but I'm sure he has to stop again. Oh, that was Raikkonen getting that back. No, that's Grosjean. Behind an AJ and ahead of Rosberg. He's getting a bit too close to that AJ there. I think it's Kovalainen. This has given Rosberg an opportunity to this corner here. Careful. That is very, very close. Now, around the outside, he's not going to do it there. No, I didn't think so. But he's got a good run coming into this corner. Grosjean has made his stop and looks quite slow. Took a good line there. Sergio Perez pits in the Shannon. So again, it looks like it's going to be a difficult season for Shannon. Perez's teammate is... where is it? Is Jarno Trulli. Well, the 3-time champion, of course, Trulli. Trulli didn't do much better. Alongside Grosjean comes Rosberg now into turn 1. That's a clean move. Still trying to make up positions after his calamitous error down at the fast chicane, and he's into the pits. Into his box. And Hamilton in as well, so this is his second stop. Taking some red mark tyres. Completely to mismatch the car. Well, he's already lost first and second to Massa and Button. Out of the pits comes Hamilton. And that is a lonely third position. Here is Massa and Button, still separated by just a second. You sense that Button may well try something. PK pits from 5th position. Massa coming up to lap 1 of the GRMs. Raikkonen pits from 7th. It became 7th when PK pitted, so lose it to PK at least. Raikkonen may lose a position to Grosjean as well. That may well have been Grosjean. It indeed was. And right behind Raikkonen is the Mitchell of Buemi. Up the inside. And that's a position gain for Buemi, so not a good outlap from Raikkonen so far, but he has got new tyres. Massa just eking out the gap a little bit to Button by a few tenths. Oh, that's a lot bigger gap now. And that's Kovalainen getting past Raikkonen. Not quite. Didn't take a very good line at turn 1. Raikkonen not very quick at this point. Here we look at an Andy Racing pulling off. That is PK. Suttle was already out of the race, so this will move Grosjean up to 7th. Rear wheel still spinning. Buemi will move up to 8th position. PK looks a bit disappointed in the car. No, Raikkonen back up to 8th. So where's Buemi gone? Did Raikkonen get past him? I imagine so. That's a gearbox problem for PK. As the marshal pulls off. And who is that? That is Kobayashi out from 6th position. A big blown engine for him. They'll move the FJRs up a couple of positions. So this season at least, the FJRs do look a little bit more reliable. Clearly the one-stop strategy was the way to go because Massa and Jenson Button are a long way ahead of Hamilton. This is the final lap. Looks like it's been an absolutely splendid return for Massa. Took a year out to race in the 3.5 series. And that year off has done him a lot of good. Because he held on to the pressure from Button and he managed to control the gap quite beautifully. One-stop strategy helped him jump Lewis Hamilton, as did Button in that case. I think what's won it for Massa was his very good start because he gained 2 positions from Vettel and Button, as well as the gear racing looking a bit better, and as well as Massa looking very, very nice. So rounding the final corner, Felipe Massa is going to take the victory for gear racing. Gear racing back to winning ways. When was the last time you saw them win? But a very good victory for Massa.
Great job.
Congratulated by his own team. Button did set the fastest lap though on the last tour, so Button looks like he's back on form. Good result for LeBlanc. And they won the last race of the season with Webber last time out, so they've maintained that form, certainly with Button anyway. First Massa, second Button. Hamilton, a podium finish for him and the Pedersen team. No British team in the top 3, that's a very odd occurrence. Hulkenberg 4th for the Mitchell and Vettel 5th. The 2 FJRs showing quite reliably in the race, 6th and 7th. Grosjean ahead of Raikkonen. Kovalainen in 8th position completes the top 8 and the point scores. AJ in the points as well on his return, so that's a good effort. We'll see you for the next round in Malaysia.